Coco Gauff went quiet, but not because she had nothing to say. Her silence was a strategy, not surrender. That night, she didn't post a word online, didn't sit for interviews, didn't make statements. To the world, it seemed like she was retreating. But behind that silence was something powerful, a storm in the making. Because the next morning, the entire sports world woke up to one headline that flipped everything upside down. Coco Gauff files a $50 million lawsuit against Fox Sports. It wasn't a rumor, and it wasn't a PR stunt. It was a real, calculated move by a 19-year-old athlete who decided that enough was enough. This wasn't about chasing a payout. It was about demanding respect. For years, sports networks have blurred the line between honest commentary and personal attacks, turning athletes into entertainment targets. But Coco wasn't going to let that cycle continue. This time, the target fought back. She didn't respond with emotion. She didn't go on a social media rant. Instead, she responded with law, with precision, and with courage. In doing so, Coco Gauff didn't just defend herself. She redefined the power dynamic between athletes and the media. She proved that silence, when used strategically, can be the sharpest weapon of all. But what exactly happened? What did that Fox Sports host say that turned one broadcast into a $50 million disaster? It happened during a live, primetime segment, a major pre-match broadcast seen by millions around the world. The network was doing what it always does, showing highlights, analyzing match stats, and predicting outcomes. But then the host went off script. Instead of talking about Coco's athletic abilities, her serve, her speed, or her focus, he made it personal. He questioned her maturity, dismissed her legitimacy, and claimed her success was more hype than skill. He described her as emotional, overrated, and not built for greatness. It wasn't just analysis, it was mockery. The tone, the smirk, the arrogance. It was clear that this wasn't about tennis anymore. It was character assassination dressed up as commentary. For a few seconds, even the studio fell silent. Everyone knew the line had been crossed. The segment ended awkwardly, the cameras cut away, and the show moved on. The world was supposed to forget it by morning. But Coco didn't forget. She didn't lash out or clap back. She didn't post a response or demand an apology. She stayed composed, gave her standard post-match interview, and went home. To the public, it looked like she had brushed it off. But behind closed doors, she was building something far stronger than a statement. She was building a case. What came next was bigger than anyone could have predicted. Within an hour, that 30-second clip hit social media, and the internet erupted. Hashtags like #DefendCoco and #RespectTheGame exploded across platforms. Fans around the world replayed the clip endlessly, analyzing every word, every look, every gesture that revealed just how wrong the moment had been. People who didn't even follow tennis joined the conversation. Then came the wave of support from fellow players. Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, Ons Jabeur, legends of the game, each posted messages of solidarity. They all said the same thing. This kind of public humiliation had gone too far. The sports community united behind Coco, calling for accountability, fairness, and respect. Even journalists who normally defended broadcasters couldn't look away. Some called it disgraceful. Others called it a turning point for sports media. Rival networks replayed the segment frame by frame, dissecting every second of that broadcast. What started as a reckless comment turned into a global lesson about responsibility in media. Meanwhile, Fox Sports was scrambling. They disabled comments, limited replies, and deleted posts related to the show, but it was too late. The internet doesn't forget, and by then, the clip had gone viral across every platform. TikTok edits mocked the host. YouTube channels broke down the incident like a courtroom case. Meme accounts flooded the timeline. The backlash was unstoppable, and through all of it, Coco Gauff stayed silent. No angry tweet, no emotional statement, no interview. Just silence. But this wasn't the silence of defeat. It was the silence of focus. While the world was reacting, she was preparing. And when she finally made her move, it wasn't through a press conference. It was through a legal filing. Coco's lawsuit hit like a thunderclap. Filed in federal court, the document laid out 3 major claims: defamation, emotional distress, and professional harm. Every paragraph was meticulous, every claim backed by evidence. It wasn't a rant, it was a masterclass in control. The message was clear. This wasn't just about one host or one insult. It was about drawing a line that should never have been crossed. The sports world had never seen anything quite like it. A young champion, barely out of her teens, taking on one of the biggest sports media giants in the world, and doing it not through anger, but through the law. It was a statement bigger than any post-match speech. In a way, Coco's lawsuit wasn't just for her. It was for every athlete who's been reduced to a headline, every woman in sports who's been labeled too emotional, every player who's been mocked instead of analyzed. She didn't just challenge Fox Sports. She challenged an entire culture that profits from tearing people down. As the news broke, reactions poured in once again. Fans called it brave. Critics called it bold. Some said it would change sports journalism forever. Because this wasn't just a lawsuit, it was a reckoning. For the first time in a long time, a young athlete had turned her silence into a weapon of justice, and that's what made it so powerful. Coco Gauff didn't fight back with rage. She fought back with reason. She didn't demand respect. She earned it by holding the powerful accountable. That's why her silence that night wasn't weakness. It was strategy. It was patience. It was power. And in the end, it became the loudest message she could have ever sent. Because when you've been underestimated long enough, silence isn't surrender, it's preparation. And when Coco Gauff finally broke hers, she didn't just make a statement. She made history.